Hi, I'm Madeline from Sheen Slings, and this is my video review of the Ergo Omni 360. So Omni means all or everything, and certainly this is the carrier from Ergo that offers pretty much everything you could want. It's a really long-lived carrier, it offers loads of options, it's completely feature-packed, and it is one of the absolutely most requested, most tried on carriers in my life. So I'm going to talk you through it today. I'm going to talk you through from the bottom up, through all the features, how it works, let you see it in action. I'm going to talk about what positions it offers, what ages and stage babies it works best for. I'm going to talk about its pros and also its cons. And at the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about how it compares to other carriers on the market, as well as other Ergos. So let's get started. So we're going to start at the waistband. And the first thing I'm going to show you is this adjustment system. So the other thing I should say about this carrier is Omni also stands for outward mode no insert, and this was certainly the first carrier by Ergo that A, gave the option to outward face, and combined with that B, had an adjustable seat, which meant you didn't need an infant insert. So before that, their carriers before gave you one or the other, and this combined it and gave you all of those options. So this is the adjustable seat, and how it works is quite simple. These Velcro tabs come off, and then you can place them according to the size of your baby, and there is a size guide here. But in general, the red works best for when babies are in size 0 to 3 clothes, and then the yellow once they're in sort of 3 to 9 month age clothes. I say clothes because babies grow at different rates. And then the blue generally once babies are in 9 months plus clothes, and it will generally be wide enough. I'll show you. It really widens the seat, changes the shape of the seat, and widens it wide enough that this will last baby to typically almost 2 years or over 2 years of age. So I'm going to pop this back on the yellow because the doll I'm using today is in 3 to 6 month clothes, so fits the yellow best. And you can see same on the other side. And then I'm going to start putting this waistband on. So the first thing you will notice about the waistband I showed you is it is quite thick, quite wide, certainly at the front. It's wide at the front, tapers at the edges, and then we've got this nice, again, widens out, nicely shaped lumbar panel. So widens out. And Ergo clearly really thought about this to make the widest parts the parts of your body that need the most support and the most sort of strengthening. So we've got here at the front of the carrier where baby's weight is, and then here in your right in your lumbar spine, right in the part of your back that can get achy. And the nice thing is then this really will help stabilize this waistband so that you can get it so it sits completely level to the ground and flush. It is worth saying this bit is quite heavy, and it really does rely on getting this central and nice and tight. Often parents are a little bit surprised by how much you have to sort of like lift this and tighten and sort of hula dance to get this really snug. And often when parents try this carrier and are finding it uncomfortable, it's actually that they're struggling to get this tight enough. And that's just technique and getting used to it, and often new carriers take a little bit more for these to really get soft and adjust easily. But once you've used it a few times, you get there and you get used to how to get this nice and snug. And once you do get it nice and snug, for many people it's really, really supportive. Like all things, it depends on how it fits your body. So some parents will find this fits them really well and they'll be really comfy, and other parents won't find it sits as well on their body. And it's just that carriers are like jeans, so always worth trying. But for many, this is really comfortable, and you can see that tapered shape. Tapered shape means that you sort of have the bulk where you need it, but not too much bulk where you don't. It is worth noting that it will go very, very wide, so it will generally fit parents who are plus size. You can tighten it further, so it will fit most parents, but the super, super petite might struggle to get it really, really tight, but generally fits a huge range of parents, at least on the waistband. So as we move up the panel, if I flip this up, I'm showing you the mesh. This one is a mesh, so you'll notice we have a mesh. It's quite a nice soft, breathable mesh. you can't really see through it, but it is quite breathable and softer than it probably looks on YouTube. So this one is the mesh version. There also is a cotton version. In terms of how they fit and how they feel, fit babies and fit adults are exactly the same. The shape and the cut is exactly the same. Just the difference is the standard cotton version is all cotton. On the mesh, sections of it have been replaced with this mesh. And then the top cotton is exactly the same. So you can see this one is cotton both sides, this one has cotton here, mesh the other. In terms of the amount of padding, both at the waistband and the shoulders are exactly the same. And consequently, for the wearer, for the adult, it means actually these carriers are about the same in terms of warmth to wear, because it's the padding and the bulk of the carrier that has the biggest effect on whether you feel cool or hot and, you know, your baby. This one will feel slightly cooler for the baby because the breathable mesh side is against their back, so they'll be better able to ventilate their heat versus this one. So generally, parents particularly looking to carry in the summer, I recommend this one over this one. And in fact, all year round, often parents will go for this because it's not a lot cooler, but it does keep you cooler in the summer. It does keep baby cooler in the summer, but in terms of for parents, there's not a huge difference. And certainly because this is a bulkier carrier, it won't be as cool as a less bulky carrier. So that's the fabric. If we continue up there, you'll see we've got some nice inside, we've got some nice legs out padding. So this carrier is quite soft and padded around baby's legs. We've got this nice buckety seat so baby can sit in very comfortably, and I'll show you with a doll in a moment. As we continue up the panel, you can see we've got sliders here. So at the moment I'm set up for inwards facing, but I can just slide these down and this completely changes the shape of the seat. And now you can see I've got like an hourglass shape, and this allows baby to sit with their legs pointing straight out. So if I grab a doll quickly, my doll's not really big enough to forward face, but just to give you an idea, now baby can sit with their legs outward, sticking out of this hourglass shape. And it gives them this really beautiful seated position in this position. This is one of the real pros of this carrier. It is definitely one of the best on the market in terms of the shape of this seat in the outward facing position. It really does give them a really beautiful sat position, and really simple and easy to get them into this lovely sat position in this shape. If you are really looking for a carrier that does forward facing, you're thinking you're going to use it a long time, it really is a big pro, because it's just, you've got that lovely deep squat position, which can be quite hard to get in a forward facing carrier, in the forward facing position. And likewise, you get a really beautiful sat position in the inward facing. And it's really, really simple to switch between the two modes, because at least in the mesh version, it's as simple as sliding. It's worth saying on the cotton version, for reasons best known to Ergo, these aren't sliders but buttons. So a little bit more faffy to do, because you've got to undo the button and move and redo a new button, but still can be done one-handed. Still really, really easy, and easy to remember which way, because when facing away, go to grey. So I've got my baby in inwards, and again you can see really beautiful sat position in this bucket. Really comfortable. And as we move up the panel, you can see we've got a neck support, which I have folded down for the size of my baby, which gives some nice padding against baby's neck to support their head. This can actually be positioned in 3 positions, so I've got it outwards for my 3 to 4 month old baby, but for a newborn I can actually flip this in, and the thing comes around here, and that helps tighten up the top of the carrier, which is great for a younger baby. And as baby grows, these can undo and come to this, so it can come upwards for an older child to support as they grow up. Although for this height baby, I want this right in the back of the neck. I should say also, hiding in here in a zippered compartment, I have a hood, which is useful as a sun cover, rain cover. If your baby is a bit like a parrot and needs to have their needs to be covered to go to sleep, and that just pops onto the poppers here, and you can attach on both or one side, or if you need privacy while feeding in your carrier. So that is the panel, and then we'll move on to the straps. So as I've sort of mentioned, the straps are quite bulky. They're quite soft, but not too soft. They are quite bulky, quite padded, quite a lot of padding. I should also say the waistband again is really firm, quite big. So this is quite a bulky carrier with quite a lot of padding. When it comes to padding, again, it really depends on bodies and your preference. Some people find this padding really comfortable, and if it gives you a really good fit, you will find it really comfortable. If it doesn't quite sit on your body right, then you won't, because it won't mold as beautifully as something that you know, is softer. So it really depends. Some people find it really, really supportive. Some people find it gets in the way, particularly because it is a bigger carrier. I would say generally parents who have larger frames like me or beyond, or plus size parents, will find this really comfortable because they have a larger frame to have all that bulk. Very petite parents or people on the smaller side often end up feeling more like this carrier is wearing them than the other way around, because it just feels like quite a lot, like it's a lot on their shoulders and a lot over their back. So like any carrier, I hugely recommend you try it on, because there are alternatives that work just as well as this, that just fit differently. This is a great carrier if it fits you, but no brand has ever been able to make a carrier that fits literally everybody. That's why there are so many on the market. And then continue on these straps. These straps can be done up in two different ways. So either a rucksack, so we put both over and then do up a clip behind us. And this clip is on runners, which enables you to move it up and down. So it will fit, again, a huge range of different size parents and shaped backs, because you can move this up and down to fit you. Although this strap should sit just here in your middle back rather than higher up, so you can adjust it so that it does sit nicely on you. I can't do this up behind my back, so I'm not even going to pretend I can. Although if you can't do it up behind your back, there are lots of methods. So what I usually do is do it up in front of me before I pick up baby, and then when I put baby in, throw it over my head, put my arms in, and I can help you if you're struggling with this, so just get in contact. But the other way you can do up this carrier is you can cross the straps. And I really love, I think this is a real pro of this carrier, that you can do both, because I find that different backs prefer different things. Some people, and it really comes down to the shape of your shoulders. Some people have cross-shaped shoulders, cross-shaped backs. Some people have rucksack style backs. And I encourage all my clients who come to try both, because they will have a strong preference, one or the other. And so it really is important to try both and see what fits you personally. And you know, and particularly if you are sharing this with a partner or another caregiver or another member, you know, grandparents, whatever, everybody try it. And a carrier like this, which offers both options, so both the rucksack and the cross, really can be helpful, because it means that different people, it's more likely to fit everyone who wants to wear it and give a good fit to everyone who wants to wear it. And that really is a pro in my mind. In terms of how you tighten it, there's just this pull backwards tightening here. Compared to some which allow you to pull in both directions, or have adjustments here, it does mean that you have to sort of really understand how to move the looseness around and how to tighten it away. Often this can be a frustration for parents if they don't realise, and they sort of tighten here and it pulls on baby and they say, oh, baby's uncomfortable. And it's just technique, but could be easier. So there we go. And some parents do find it hard to pull again, so something to be mindful of. The other thing to be mindful of is these clips. So these are safety buckles. So if I pop this so you can see it, they're designed so that you can't just undo them. Normally you've got to lift this center prong and then squeeze to undo it. And likewise, when you are doing them up, you need to line that center prong up and slide it in. The pro of that is it means they can't be undone absent-mindedly or accidentally. It really requires quite a purposeful motion. The con is, at least when you're new and you're not expecting it, I've had a few parents be like, oh my God, having to Google their way out of their carrier. The other con is these buckles are really fragile. They are very slender to get this to work, and they do break. They have never broken in a dangerous way, you know, like so that a baby might fall. They tend to break, you know, when you're unclipping or clipping. So when you've got hands on babies, it's more just a case of it is a bit of a pain in the butt because then you've got to replace it. Ergo are brilliant at sending free new ones and replacements, and they have their 10-year Ergo promise, which means they guarantee all their carriers for 10 years, which is amazing. And I really do like, so it's not a problem. You will get it fixed if it does break, but it is a bit of a con in my mind. I have 5 of these, and I have to replace buckles every few months, and it's a bit annoying to say, just, you know. It's not the end of the world, but it's a bit annoying. So so positions. Let's do positions first. I've shown you the inwards. I've also talked about the outwards. This carrier also offers a hip position. It is quite bulky in the hip position, but it does offer it. So it is nice as a occasional thing if you want to use it, but it isn't, maybe if you were going to hip carry all the time, it wouldn't be my first choice because it is quite bulky. And it offers a back carry. Now, it does the back carry brilliantly. And it's really comfortable on the back. It is worth noting that this lumbar support doesn't come off. So when you are back carrying, it is sitting across your stomach. So if you do have tenderness about that, that's worth thinking about, or it's not the most fashionable thing, but it also does, I mean, for a lot of people, make it really comfortable because it stabilizes the waistband. So it's a great carrier in the back position, which typically babies move on to somewhere between 6 to 12 months. And really does enable you to carry to toddlerhood. Generally, this carrier will last to about 2, sometimes 2.5, sometimes a bit less. Really depends on how fast your baby grows and how big and long of leg they are. So yeah, it's a really long-lasting carrier. It is worth saying, in terms of when you can use it from, Ergo say from birth. The panel is really long. You can see how long it is on my 3 to 4 month old doll. Generally speaking, you can put a baby in here from birth, but you probably don't want to. You're probably going to feel like they are disappearing in it, and you're not going to feel comfortable or safe. In general, I find this carrier works really well from about 2 months onwards, but rarely before that. But it will give you from 2 months to about 2 years, which means it does offer fantastic value. It retails at £155. I do sell it, and the link is in the video, the link is below, in the comments below. Yeah, so it does offer really good value for money if this carrier fits you well and if you really like it. The best way to find that out is to try it on. I offer postal hires if you're not near a sling library, but otherwise check out your local sling library and give it a go. In terms of other carriers that are like it, it's worth, if you like something like this, it's worth looking at the Beko 8 and the Tudor Explore. They are both carriers that offer all the same things. Both are slightly less bulky than this, and just fit differently. So really worth trying. Also, but if you're in the market for something that isn't quite this bulky, then I would really recommend looking at something like the Ergobaby. There are many options. There are many reviews on my YouTube and on my website. Do have a look, because there are so many options, and particularly if you're more petite, you might find that a more lightweight carrier like the Beko Gemini or the Ergobaby just fits you better. But for the vast majority of people, this fits loads of different parent shapes and sizes, and it really just comes down to how you want to use it. It is a great carrier if you want to go out for the day. It offers a lot of comfort, but it is quite bulky. It doesn't fit down small, so it isn't the best handbag sling. If you have any questions or want to know any more about this, please do comment below. I hope it's been helpful. Bye.